Dennis. Good evening all. So, hello, I'm Craig Bennett, I'm Chief Executive of Friends of the Earth, and I'm delighted to be here tonight. I always enjoy coming to Liverpool, and it's fantastic to see such a good crowd tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about Friends of the Earth, because hopefully you've heard of us, but you may or may not know that fundamentally what sets us apart from some other organisations is we're grassroots based. We have around 160 community groups, local groups in this country, including Liverpool Friends of the Earth, so great to be here with Liverpool Friends of the Earth tonight. And that's really important for informing our decision making and our campaigning. We also do the national campaigning as well, which you've heard of, but we're also part of the world's largest grassroots international network. We've actually got Friends of the Earth groups in 75 countries around the world now, all on those principles of being based in the grassroots. So Friends of the Earth Indonesia, for example, has got 1,000 community groups across Indonesia. And that means, I think that makes it very special, is that when we campaign on issues, you can campaign at a very local level in Friends of the Earth, but as part of a global movement. And that's what I get very passionate about with Friends of the Earth. So I think this is such an important, timely discussion tonight, of course. And we've heard from Andy, an overview of some of the science. But I think it's worth saying just how much the science has ramped up in the last year. Obviously, we've had the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, around 1.5 degrees. And it's important to say, what's the difference between 1.5 degrees and 2 degrees? Well, it's millions of people's lives, first and foremost. Actually, these are not kind of just numbers we pluck out there. As Friends of the Earth International, we campaigned passionately. We were campaigning 15 years ago in the UN climate talks to say that we had to have a target of 1.5 and not 2 degrees, and everyone thought we were mad, except for the small island developing states, that it makes a difference between whether they exist or not. And finally we managed to get that target of 1.5 degrees. But the difference, it's not just a small thing. I know half a degree doesn't feel much difference to us, but it really is the difference in life or death for millions of people. It's the difference between whether you get positive feedback loops in the Earth's climate system and so on. So we really have to strive hard to make sure temperatures don't go above 1.5 degrees. And although we say we've got 12 years left, actually, as Andy was saying, no, we haven't. We've got much less than that, because actually, what it doesn't mean, what you can't do is do all the work in the last 2 years. Actually, you have to do the bulk of it in the first half of those 12 years. I'll read this out to you. This is a paper that was published by some of the world's top climate scientists from right around the world. Trajectories of the Earth system in the Anthropocene. This was published last August. It's not often you get a phrase like this in a peer-reviewed scientific paper. We argue that the social and technological trends and decisions occurring over the next decade or two could significantly influence the trajectory of the Earth system for tens to hundreds of thousands of years, and potentially lead to conditions that will be inhospitable to current human societies and to many other contemporary species. Why isn't that the only thing people are talking about at the moment? It's absolutely absurd. This is a peer-reviewed scientific paper, and it's not alone, it's many others, saying that the decisions we make in the next couple of decades basically decide whether humanity and plenty of other species continue to exist or not. Pretty astonishing, really. So, at times in this debate, yes, you can feel pretty pessimistic. Of course you can feel pretty pessimistic. But you know what? All of my campaigning life, I've been told things can't be done, and then we campaign, and we get solutions. This is the hardest one for us to address, but the most important. So it's worth just skimming through very quickly the solutions that we believe at Friends of the Earth would make a real difference, and make a difference to get the UK on track for doing our fair contribution to making sure the world sticks at 1.5 degrees. And we've got 6 headings here. I'm going to actually through them. The first 3 you'll be very familiar with. They're the things you imagine about climate change, the smokestacks, the car exhausts and so on. So let's start with those. Energy. Okay? There's climate change really often feels very complicated. But in one sense, it's also really simple. The solution to climate change is largely Stop burning fossil fuels. And we can get really, really complicated about it, but actually that's all we really have to do, and a few other things, and it would make a phenomenal difference. The sad thing is our current government is pushing for yet more fossil fuels. And it's one thing for us to have the challenge to give up the fossil fuels we're currently using, but actually this government, and actually the vast majority of the political consensus, is still pushing for yet more fossil fuels. It's absolutely absurd. You know, just a couple of months ago, there was this announcement of a new oil and gas field in the North Sea that had been found, and all the papers reported about it as if it was good news. It's appalling news. If they develop that oil and gas field, again, it results in millions of people dying. We don't know who, we don't know where, or exactly when. But that's what it means. We've got to start telling the truth. This is about people dying if we burn fossil fuels. We have, of course, a government that has been forcing fracking on local communities that don't want it when the science is really clear. This is the last thing we need to do. Science is really clear. Of the fossil fuels we've already found, we need to leave at least 80 or 90% of them in the ground. To be honest, probably 100%. So why on earth would we go looking for yet more of the stuff? Absolutely absurd. And I do want to pay an enormous tribute to the fracking, anti-fracking communities. I saw Tina here earlier, and the anti-fracking communities here tonight. They have been an absolute inspiration to all of us in drawing that line in the sand. I'll tell you what, the anti-fracking communities, that's one form of red lines I'm very happy about. So, they've been absolutely phenomenal. But we've just got to stop this. It's unbelievable that right now, Friends of the Earth, we're trying to fight in the courts to stop a brand new open-cast coal mine in the northeast, in Druridge Bay. It's absolutely mad. So we've got to stop fossil fuels, and we've got to go foot to the floor as fast as we can with renewables. And the really good news is renewables have grown faster than anyone could ever have imagined. It's been exponential, and that word is often misused, but it has been exponential growth in renewables over the last 2 years. We need to see a lot more. We need to see at least 8 times the levels of renewables here in the UK than we've got now, at least. But again, the good news is they're getting cheaper all the time, they're getting more efficient all the time, they're getting better all the time. The renewables we've got now are equivalent, if you like, to the brick-sized mobile phones we had in the 1980s compared to the smartphones we've got now. You know, you won't believe the solar panels that we're going to have in 20 years' time. They're developing spray-on solar, can you believe? All these kind of things. But that will come much faster and much cheaper if the government put the frameworks in place to support it. And it's not all about subsidies. It's about banning the bad stuff and saying you can't build new buildings unless you put these on the roof and so on. It's really simple, but what we just don't have is the political will to make it happen. So we can solve that on energy. What about buildings? Isn't it absurd that the vast majority of buildings in this country still leak vast amounts of heat into the air? We burn fossil fuels to heat our houses and we lose a vast amount of it. You can still build houses in this country that leak loads of heat. It's absolutely ludicrous. Here in Liverpool, 1 in 5 homes are suffering from fuel poverty. This is a national scandal, and it's not just an impact of climate change, it impacts on the NHS, people dying, and so on. We can solve this. The technology already exists. Isn't the stuff we need in the future? Again, it's just political will. So turn that around in buildings as well, for lighting and all those kind of things. The third one, what about industry, business and industry? Well, we have seen a lot of progress there in some ways, greater energy efficiency, a lot more can be done. But we've also seen extraordinary laggards. And just last week, we had Cumbria County Council give the go-ahead to a new coal mine on the north, just north of the coast up here a little bit, and to use coal in making steel. Again, there's alternatives for that now. Yes, we need steel to build wind turbines, that's very nice, but you can make it now without coal. So let's put our minds together and do that. Our whole political elite, our whole technology, our whole business elite, very often is just stuck in 1970s thinking, and it hasn't changed yet. So those are the obvious ones. There's real problems, real solutions around buildings, around industry, and so on. What about the third one, transport? Did you know transport is the one sector of the UK economy where emissions are still growing? And yet it's one of the easiest to deal with. Certainly when it comes to road transport. You know, we know that actually we're starting to see electric vehicles come in. That's good. They're not a panacea. Actually, you need modal shift. You need to actually reduce the number of car journeys and mileage and so on. But actually, if you could get rid of petrol and diesel cars faster, that would make a huge difference in climate change. And the government has put this target in place to stop selling petrol and diesel cars by 2040. But Norway reckons they can do it by 2025, and India reckons they can do it by 2030. What is so useless about Britain that we can only do it by 2040? Let's put out feet together? Sorry, why have I said that? I don't know, whatever. Let's get on with it and at least do it by 2030. But then, of course, you see dumb old 1970s transport thinking all over the place. Things like HS2. It's going to cost 100 billion quid, probably, to speed up the journey just a little bit. And in actual fact, sometimes getting work done on the train is a good thing to do. And I can tell you now, it's not going to benefit the North. There's a report out just last week that we funded from the New Economics Foundation saying it's going to increase inequalities between the North and South. If you took that 100 billion quid, that's enough to put cycleways, cycleways, good walking, buses in right across the country. You could pay for free bus travel right across the country for years and years and years with the money that's being spent on HS2, let alone investment in all kinds of sustainable urban transport. And here in Liverpool, I'm going tomorrow morning to Rimrose Valley because I've heard about that extraordinary campaign, I've heard about that appalling proposal to put a road right through the middle of that community, right through that county park, and I want to go and see it for myself. I'm going to see it tomorrow morning. It's sickening that even those kind of proposals are still happening in this day and age, and it's got to stop. And that's even before you consider all the impact on people's health because of air pollution. We can do this, it's just old thinking. We're not even waiting for new technology here. We've got to see those shifts. So those are perhaps the obvious ones. Transport, energy, buildings, industry and so on. We've always known that. Perhaps what's less obvious to some people sometimes is the climate change impacts of three other categories. Let's talk about agriculture and land use. Agriculture is actually a huge source of climate emissions, not least methane from livestock, from meat and dairy. And there'll be many people here, I'm sure, that are vegetarian, many people here that are vegan. And if you want to do that, that's great. But you know, even if you do eat meat, if you even just halve your meat consumption, that makes a huge difference. And it's better for your health as well anyway. Just reducing meat consumption does that. And what that will allow is more space for nature. And just next month, we're going to launch a campaign at Friends of the Earth to get a doubling of tree cover in the UK. Because for too long, it's really wound me up that people talk about nature as one issue and climate change as another issue, as if they're completely separate. But we've crunched the numbers, and if we double tree cover in the UK, it will sequester the equivalent carbon as 10% of the UK's emissions. That is huge. And we've got to start realising there's no way out of climate change unless we start sucking carbon out of the air. And you have these proposals for crazy machines to do it. Guess what? The best machine for sucking carbon out of the air has already been invented. It's nature. It does it really well. We just need to make more space for it. So we're going to try and make sure that we have a campaign to double tree cover in the UK to do that. What about consumption? All the things we buy, it's been talked about a little bit here. And one of the things is when you do see UK emissions falling, sometimes that's offsetting those carbon emissions to actually where the goods that we buy are made. You know, there's a lot of it hidden in other things. Talk about plastics. So last year or so, a lot of the debate about plastics has focused on the impact on marine animals, and that is shocking. But did you know that 17% of the world's crude oil supply is used to make plastics? Did you know that the main reason that Ineos wants to frack across the UK is to get gas that they use to make more single-use plastics? They're already the biggest manufacturer of plastics in Europe, and they want to frack to get energy to make even more single-use plastic. We need that like a hole in the head, I can tell you. And as time goes on and these other sectors reduce their emissions, actually the impact of plastics on climate change becomes even bigger. So, building, no, I've done buildings. Okay, I have done all six, good. I've done all six. So 6 headings there of areas. If we made a real concentrated difference in solving those, then actually we can tackle climate change. But what we need is not really that we need new technologies, we need political will to drive this. It's easy to attack the government. I do that all the time, I'm very happy to do that. But the problem is across the vast majority of political parties as well. Let's take Heathrow as an example. I could not have been more depressed when you saw hundreds of MPs, I think it was over 400 MPs voted for a third runway at Heathrow. MPs that have stood up time and again, from all the parties bar one, that have stood up time and again to say how important climate change is and how serious it is, and then they vote for a third runway at Heathrow that will result in an additional 700 planes a day and mean Heathrow Airport will emit as much carbon as Croatia, a whole other European country. How on earth can building a third runway and expanding airports in the UK help us tackle climate change? So, the good news is political will can be changed. Actually, political will is very fickle. Politicians nearly always come late to the party. Very rarely. I've spent my life waiting for some kind of green JFK, and I've decided now they're not going to turn up. So, the really good news is if we put enough pressure on, if we mobilise, if we really, really show what can be done at local level, take action in your individual lives, take action in your community, campaign in your community, network together into a movement, put pressure on the politicians, things could change very quickly. We can do this. I am an optimist. If I wasn't an optimist, I wouldn't go into work every morning. We can do this. Amazing changes have happened before. Every time anyone has won huge campaigns in the past, a few days before they think they can't. We can do this, but what we can't do is just sit around and do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you.